My dad spent 200 grand to book us a wedding venue. But my girlfriend wants me to give it up for her brother. Your money is my money. If my sister has a grand wedding, it makes us look good too. And we can also give him a 50 grand dowry. I chuckled, annoyed. Why is her brother's wedding any of my business? My girlfriend got impatient. Stop being so petty. Anyway, your dad's loaded. Just spend another 200 grand. I went ahead and canceled the venue. I also called the company to restore her original salary. If she's that capable, she can pay for her brother's venue herself. Next month, I was trying on my wedding suit in front of the mirror. My girlfriend, Emily, suddenly said, "Harry's getting married. He really likes that hotel your dad booked." Without thinking, I responded, "I'll speak to the manager and book it for him." Emily stayed silent, so I thought it was settled. But then she chimed in again. "We're his family. We have to make it a big deal. You won't even miss the money. Just let him have the venue." I looked at her, doubting my ears. Seeing my silence, Emily continued, "Harry had a tough life, lost his parents young, and now he's finally getting married. As his family, we should help him out." I frowned. That date was specifically chosen by my dad. We'd have to find a new date if we miss it. If your brother uses the venue, I can talk to the manager and get him a discount. Emily wasn't pleased. "We haven't sent out the wedding invitations yet, so we can push our wedding back a few days. Harry's in-laws are important people. We can't let them look down on Harry. It needs to be a classy event." I laughed, annoyed at her audacity. "He's your brother, not mine. Why should I give up the venue for his benefit?" Emily didn't agree. "Once we're married, he'll be your brother too. It's your responsibility to pay for the venue." I looked in the mirror. I was wearing a specially ordered suit from abroad, and I looked great. But I didn't want to get married anymore. Emily kept trying to convince me. "Tom, your dad has money. Just spend another 200 grand for a new venue. Harry's different. He doesn't have anyone to lean on. Let's also give him a 50 grand gift so others will respect him." Harry's Emily's brother. His parents died in a car crash when he was young, and he was raised by Emily's family. I've seen him once. He looked frail. I neither liked nor disliked him. Emily cares about him a lot, always worrying that he'll be mistreated. I didn't mind at first since I wouldn't deal with it after the wedding. But now, I'm annoyed by her entitled attitude. I ignored her and went to the dressing room to change back into my clothes. Emily kept nagging. "Tom, don't be stubborn. We can have our wedding anytime. Harry only gets one." I gave her a cold look. "For the last time, your brother has nothing to do with me. I don't owe him anything, and you're not using my money for favors." After I spoke, I planned to leave. The staff all knew my status. Out of professionalism, they didn't say a word, but their looks at Emily were telling. Emily couldn't stand the stares, felt slighted by me, and snapped, "Tom, if you're going to be like this, our wedding doesn't need to happen." I raised an eyebrow and turned to her. "Is that a threat?" I started to wonder if I'd been too nice to her lately, giving her the impression she could easily control me. She wore a stern face, a look of long-standing endurance bursting forth. "Tom, you should work on that spoiled attitude. Who'd put up with that besides me?" I scoffed. "So you've been tolerating me all along?" Emily didn't say anything, but her expression said it all. "We dated because the board members were trying to set me up. They wanted someone close to me. Since I had to get married eventually, might as well choose someone I could control." Emily was a college mate with a simple background. Her parents were ordinary workers, not involved with the company politics. Plus, she was pretty well-educated and not forceful. She seemed to comply with whatever I asked. After dating her for a while, I decided to marry her. Love's not something I believe in. I just needed a suitable partner to present publicly. Whenever I was busy with work and couldn't attend to her, I'd have my assistant send her expensive gifts. Emily thought I cared a lot about her, and I didn't bother to clarify. But as the wedding approached, she came up with this outrageous request. Emily looked confident, believing I'd back down. I found it amusing and looked her up and down. Honestly, apart from being decent-looking and obedient, she has no other real merits. And now, she's not even obedient anymore. There are plenty of women out there. If one's not satisfactory, you just replace them. I chuckled. All right, no wedding then. Emily's smile froze. Not seeing any sign of compromise, she stubbornly said, Tom, you'll regret this. I glanced at her, dismissing her as a waste of time. Who do you think you are? Turning away, I walked out of the boutique, leaving her behind. In the car, I told my driver to leave, not to bother with Emily. I pulled out my phone and told the branch manager to reinstate Emily's previous salary without any special treatment. Then I called the hotel to cancel the venue booking and refund the deposit. I was sitting in the car, watching the changing scenery outside the window. If Emily is so hung up on her brother, she should pay for it herself. After all, I'm just a spoiled rich kid who does whatever he wants. The next day at work, I suddenly got a call from a random number. Tom, you're so mean. You deleted me on contact information and even blocked me. Unless you apologize in person, I won't forgive you or marry you. Before she could finish, I hung up. I had already deleted Emily's contact information and blocked all her contacts the day before. She must have called me today using someone else's phone. I blocked that number too and told my assistant not to entertain Emily anymore. My assistant is discreet and never asks questions. She nodded, writing down my instructions, and asked timely, Tom, do you want to sort out the gifts you gave Emily too? Her reminder got me thinking. Since the wedding is off, I should get back everything I gave. Things like cash and gifts that were meant for the marriage. The necklace, the luxury watch, and the custom outfits she's used can be converted back to their original value. I'm not running a charity, so she shouldn't think she can take advantage of me. After giving the assistant those instructions, I got back to work. But Emily didn't give up, thinking I was just throwing a tantrum. She found another phone and sent me several texts. I've talked with Harry. Give him the venue, and I'll forgive you. You're too stubborn. If you marry me, you'll need to change that rich kid attitude. My patience has its limits, you know. I was speechless and even started questioning my judgment. How did I not notice Emily was just a basic girl? I deleted the texts. It's not too late to live well and steer clear of basic girls. The day that was supposed to be our wedding day arrived. I had nothing planned thanks to scheduling work around it. With nothing else to do, I decided to see what kind of wedding Emily had planned for her brother. I booked a private room and invited the secretarial team for a meal. When I got to the hotel, the lobby was noisy, with a crowd outside the door. What kind of joke is this? They invite us but won't let us in? Exactly, talking about a wedding today, but the venue isn't even set. It's embarrassing. I thought that girl what's her name hit the jackpot marrying high, but they can't even rent a place. Harry stood in a suit looking pale. The bride's face wasn't much better. They were standing at the doorway, hearing everyone's whispers. What was supposed to be a joyous day turned sour standing outside like that. I could only imagine their mood. The bride's mother looked at Harry disdainfully, scolding, "We said we'd pay for the venue, but your family insisted. And look, such a disgrace." She didn't make any move to pay up, just gave Harry disapproving glances at intervals. Harry hung his head, not daring to answer back, obviously under some pressure at his in-laws. No wonder Emily wanted me to give up the venue for him. The hotel manager led the way and, seeing the chaos, apologized. "Sorry, sir. There's been a little mix-up. We'll sort it out quickly." I was in a good mood, reassuring him, "No worries. There's all kinds everywhere. Just make sure no one takes advantage." He thanked me profusely. "Thank you for understanding, sir. We'll sort everything out quickly so your meal experience isn't affected." I nodded and he seemed relieved. The bride's parents spotted me then, their eyes brightening as they approached. The bride's mom, looking quite excited, extended a hand towards me. "Tom, hello. You're here for our daughter and Harry's wedding, right? It's an honor. Soon we'll be in-laws." The bride's mom was somewhere in her 50s, well-dressed, with a confident smile, though there was a calculated glint in her eyes. I had no recollection of this woman until my assistant reminded me. Then I remembered. She had long wanted to partner with our company, but their product hadn't matched our standards. They kept trying and met resistance. I guess now they're trying to find their way in through Harry. I didn't shake her hand. My assistant stepped in front of me and said, "Sorry, Tom is here for a departmental dinner, not to attend any wedding." "My apologies, Tom, for the interruption," she added. The mother's hand hovered awkwardly in the air before she pulled it back, forcing a smile. "Even if Harry is your brother-in-law, shouldn't we toast you? You should honor him with a drink." I gave Harry, standing silently nearby, a cold glance. Emily and I are no longer together, and I have no connection to Harry. The mother's smile froze. I walked past them without another word. A few steps ahead, I overheard Emily arguing with the staff. "We booked this venue ages ago. Why won't you let us in?" With a professional smile, the staff patiently explained, "Emily, Tom booked this venue, but he canceled it last month. Without a booking, you can't use the space." Emily was stunned. She didn't think I'd actually cancel the venue. Now she was stuck. Her face fell, and though she opened her mouth to speak, she seemed at a loss for words. Her silence was taken as agreement. Among the guests were the bride's relatives, who were also Emily's. They always thought Emily was successful, both pretty and outstanding, dating a rich and handsome guy like me. Turned out she was just a real-life Phoenix girl, someone who relied on me for everything, even booking a venue. Relatives had surprising tenacity. Several versions of the story were immediately crafted, almost branding Emily as a mere Phoenix girl without any merit of her own. Emily heard it too and immediately got a dark look on her face, but she still acted tough, saying, "No one can stand your spoiled attitude. I've been wanting to break up with you for a long time." I sneered, "Since you're so capable, you can cover the cost of the venue today. Show everyone you're not just living off someone else." The staff handed the bill to Emily. Everyone present looked at her, waiting to see what she'd do next. Emily was in a tough spot. Saving face was everything to her, so she reluctantly took the bill. Soon, she looked up at the manager and asked, "What's going on here? Why is it 250,000? Wasn't it supposed to be 200,000? She looked at me with disgust. "Tom, you really know how to play dirty tricks." The manager jumped in to explain, "Mr. Tom's father is a VIP client of our hotel, so there's a 20% discount. You aren't, so you'll have to pay the regular price." Emily was stunned. She was in a bind and couldn't come up with that much money on the spot. But not paying would embarrass her in front of her relatives, proving my point even more. I feigned concern and asked, "Need me to step in and get you a discount? Save your fake kindness." Emily's face turned all sorts of shades, and she ended up scrambling to borrow money by phone. She barely managed to gather it all. But by then, half the day had passed, and many guests grew impatient and left. The wedding began in the afternoon, and everyone was hungry, indifferent to the couple. The ceremony was rushed and ended quickly. Despite getting through the wedding with hiccups, many still mocked Emily for having to cobble things together. During it all, Emily's face was as red as a beet. She spent money but gained no good reputation. Instead, she became a joke. I thought I could leverage Emily's and Harry's relationship to connect with me. But Emily had publicly severed ties with me, making the Lynn family increasingly dissatisfied with Harry, which turned their displeasure toward Emily too. People like Emily, once lifted high, lose sight of where they truly stand. It's time she faced reality. Watching the wedding's train wreck was satisfying. After lunch, I even gave everyone half a day off. Returning to the office, my assistant had already sorted the gifts and transfer lists. I was very pleased with her efficiency. I skimmed through it and asked her to send it to Emily. No need to be soft-hearted with people who don't matter. After breaking up with Emily, I closed several big deals, strengthening my position in the company. The old-timers dared not boss me around anymore. It felt like Emily was holding me back, messing with my career and fortune. I had a morning meeting to discuss a deal with a partner. Just as the car left the underground garage, someone dashed out in front. Luckily, the driver reacted swiftly, stopping just in time to avoid an accident. Due to the sudden stop, my head almost hit the seat in front. Looking up, I saw Emily's angry face. "Tom, how can you be so vicious?" In my mind, I put a question mark. What's up with this woman? showing up here first thing in the morning causing a scene. Before I could say more, my bodyguards promptly restrained Emily to prevent anything rash. Emily looked worn out, eyes bloodshot, hair messy, clothes buttoned wrong. It was clear she hadn't been doing well. I rolled down the window and frowned. Why are you acting crazy? This place has cameras. Your behavior counts as a setup. Don't think of scamming me. Emily glared, her chest heaving, as if I'd committed some unforgivable crime. Tom, I thought you'd just been pampered, but I didn't expect you'd sabotage me behind my back and have the company cut my salary. I let out a cold laugh. Wake up. With your skills, do you think you deserve $20,000 a month? Let me be clear, you were my fiancé before. I arranged an extra $15,000 monthly from my account. Now that we're over, the money naturally stops. Emily was taken aback. Continuing, I said, since there's no wedding, you need to reimburse me for the gifts I gave you. My assistant sent you a detailed list. You're principled, so you won't dodge this, right? Emily dropped her pretense of being sweet and gentle. Those were gifts from you. Why should I return them? I clicked my tongue. Are you trying to default? They were gifts with marriage in mind. Since there's no wedding, you should return the money. You don't want me taking this to court, do you? Not many knew about the gifts and money I gave Emily. I didn't find it necessary to broadcast like other guys, making a big deal out of giving gifts. Now, those guys seemed smart to me. They made their contributions known, stood on moral high ground, then disappeared from blame when things went south, making the women look like gold diggers. Listening to my words, the bodyguards and driver looked at Emily with disdain. Emily, who usually looked respectable, turned out to be someone living off others. Exactly. I heard a while ago she wanted Tom to pay for her brother's wedding venue. Tom refused, so she tried to use the wedding as leverage. She didn't know who Tom was. He wasn't having it and just dumped her. Serves her right. Tried to gain but ended up losing. Emily's face looked like she swallowed a fly, her legs weak, stumbling awkwardly. I, sitting in the car, reminded her kindly as we passed, don't forget to pay back. Life was going well for me, not so much for Emily. The branch manager mentioned Emily thought of quitting, but couldn't find a higher-paying job, so she stayed. The manager was trying to gauge my stance and any chance of reconciliation between Emily and me. I was blunt with my response. The manager, not having to hold back, started piling on Emily's workload. Emily's completely worn out every day, but she doesn't dare to quit her job. She had lent a lot of money to Harry for his wedding. Now, with her salary cut in half, she's still paying me back. She grits her teeth to persist, but it's only a few days before she's utterly exhausted. The company officially has an 8-hour workday, but when big projects come in, overtime is inevitable. Even with double overtime pay, Emily still has a huge debt hanging over her. She works her tail off for me for a month only to use the paycheck I give her to pay me back. Harry isn't doing too great after the wedding either. The Lynn family thought Emily would marry me, aiming to climb up the social ladder through Emily. But then I kicked Emily out. Now Harry's married to their daughter, and they can't take it back. So they vent their frustration on Harry. Harry has no other family, so he comes crying to Emily when he's upset. Emily has to juggle making money while also taking care of Harry's emotions. Over time, it takes a toll on her, and she makes mistakes at work. The manager remembers what I said, and finds a reason to dock her pay. Emily is angry but has no choice, so she keeps quiet and endures it. Hearing the manager report on Emily's situation, I praised his recent performance and told him to keep it up. A few weeks later, after I visited a hospitalized client, I ran into Harry in the hospital lobby. I wasn't planning on acknowledging him and headed straight for the exit. Harry saw me and came over eagerly, calling me bro and even trying to put his arm around my shoulders. I frowned slightly and took a few steps back, and my bodyguard stopped Harry. He seemed shaken by something, tears quickly welling in his eyes as he looked at me pitifully. Bro, are you still mad about the wedding? Cousin just cares about me, but she loves you the most. After you argued and gave her the cold shoulder, she got a lot more haggard. I internally rolled my eyes, thinking about how in broad daylight he's spinning such lies. Emily is exhausted from paying back my debt. Harry's story is half-truths. Anyone who doesn't know the real situation might actually get misled by him. I looked at him coldly and said calmly, "First, we're not close, and basic manners mean keeping a social distance. Secondly, Emily and I broke up. I'm not your bro. I don't want to hear about Emily's stuff, and I don't want to see you either." With that, I headed straight for the door. Harry panicked, taking a couple of steps after me. "Bro, he only managed a few steps before collapsing right where he stood." I hesitated for a second, noting the cameras around and the coming and going of patients and doctors. He shouldn't be able to pin this on me. Being cautious, I had someone go and copy the security footage from that time period. Since it was in the hospital, Harry was soon taken into a room. Noting that Harry was fine, I was about to leave when Emily suddenly dashed into the room, looking anxious. Seeing me, her eyes filled with resentment. "What did you do to Harry? This has nothing to do with him. Whatever it is, take it out on me, but don't hurt Harry." I rolled my eyes. Does she have a persecution complex? Almost marrying her must have been one of my darker moments in history. Harry rushed up to me. I ignored him and then he fainted. How is that my problem? And by the way, it's during work hours you left your post, which counts as absenteeism. Seems like your workload's not heavy enough. I'll talk to the branch manager to give you more tasks. Considering you owe me money, you should keep working. Right then, the doctor walked in, asking who was with the patient. Emily rushed over to inquire about Harry. The doctor's tone wasn't pleasant. "He's already sick, and you family members should be taking good care of the patient." Emily paused, then nodded, taking the report from the doctor. I raised an eyebrow slightly. Harry looked at me again with that pitiful expression. "Bro, Tom, don't be mad. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have envied your wedding. Otherwise, you wouldn't have broken up with cousin. It's all my fault. Please forgive her. You're 27 now. It's going to be hard to find someone." I caught a flash of satisfaction and challenge in his eyes. This Harry isn't as weak as he seems. But I don't care. He won't have the chance to outsmart me, and all he can do is sweet-talk Emily. I shot back, "Get your facts straight. I broke up with Emily. Without her, I can find a younger and better partner, while she's nothing without me. The one who should regret is not me. If you don't believe me, just ask your dear sister." Emily's face turned dark with anger. "Enough. Guess that hit a nerve. Sometimes I really don't get why these siblings think I'm hung up on Emily." Just before stepping out the door, I suddenly turned back, as if I just remembered something, and happily said to Harry, "Oh yeah, in case you didn't know, your wonderful sister still owes me money. Make sure you remind her. Okay? After all, your excellent sister surely wouldn't intentionally default on my loan, right?" Then I didn't bother with them any further and walked straight out of the hospital room. This is ridiculous. Where on earth do they get this confidence? Emily ended up with more work, so paying attention to Harry got pushed to the back burner. Just when I thought these siblings had finally cooled off and wouldn't stir up trouble anymore, my assistant walked in with a serious face, handing me a tablet. "Tom, there's a bunch of negative stuff online." I took a look and saw a popular relationship vlogger had just released a new video. The man in the video had his face blurred and voice altered. "When I got married, my cousin paid for it. Her boyfriend was unhappy, broke up with her, and even demanded compensation for emotional distress. Now, my cousin's working herself to the bone to pay him back and is visibly worn out. I'm genuinely worried about her. I hope her boyfriend stops giving her the cold shoulder. My cousin loves him dearly. I bumped into him at the hospital before. Tried to show I was concerned, but he just brushed me off and wanted me to stay away. But still, I kind of wish he'd get back with my sister and live a good life together. I could apologize to him and ask for his forgiveness." I raised an eyebrow and instantly recognized Harry in the video. He had a knack for twisting facts, didn't he? A lot of people in the comments were trashing me. They said I was narrow-minded and called me a gold digger. They all sympathized with Emily. Harry's tactics were so low-class, trying to pressure me and Emily to get back together like that. What a shame. I'm Tom, and I don't bow to threats. I told my assistant to gather evidence, contact a lawyer, and file the necessary reports and lawsuits. Who did he think he was, trying to guilt-trip me? I'm not having any of it. Even Emily called me. Not sure what Harry had been filling her head with, but she sounded way too confident. Tom, it's about time you drop this tantrum. Even my patience has its limits. I'm letting go of the past, and the wedding can still happen. Your reputation's not looking great now, so you might want to tone it down. After we're married, take good care of Harry. He's been unwell lately, and as his future brother-in-law, you shouldn't hold grudges. I almost rolled my eyes into the back of my head. These siblings were unbelievable. One thought posting a video and swaying public opinion could make me cave. The other assumed I'd have no choice but her since my reputation was supposedly in the gutter. I let out a laugh. Why don't you pay back what you owe me first? I hung up right after saying it, blocking her number in the process. I released all the evidence on social media and tagged that emotional blogger. First, there was the video from the bridal shop. I was recording the wedding planning, so everything was on tape. The video clearly showed Emily shamelessly trying to get me to cover the venue costs for Harry's wedding. I refused, and Emily threatened to call off the wedding with me. But I turned the tables and broke it off first. I shared receipts and transaction proofs. The money I was asking back was for gifts I'd given Emily for our future wedding. Gifts I now wanted returned because we broke up. There was also footage of Emily finding me at work and trying to deny the debt when I asked for the money back. The final clip was at the hospital. I told Harry not to call me brother-in-law, but he wouldn't listen. He suddenly fainted even though I was 4 or 5 meters away and hadn't touched him at all. The comments were lively. These siblings were both dumb and mean, clearly trying to manipulate and play victims online. Lucky for me, plenty of people saw through their nonsense. Why shouldn't a guy get his engagement gifts back after a breakup? This guy is a legend. It's rare to see someone handle such trickery so boldly. The gifts he gave weren't cheap at all. This guy must be loaded. Why would it matter to him that her brother is getting married? The nerve to demand him surrender his venue bookings. Serves her right for trying to control him and then getting dumped. What a clown. She's too full of herself. Why does she think she's the only option? Thank goodness for the clear-headed folks who saw through it all. If not, who knows how much worse it'd have gotten. The tide didn't turn against me like Harry had hoped. Many level-headed commenters targeted him for being dishonest and shameless. The blogger released an apology, stating he didn't verify information before posting and that he was sorry for spreading false info. I didn't make it too hard for him. He just took Harry at his word. I advised him to verify his sources carefully from now on to avoid being used as a pawn again. He thanked me and promised not to let it happen again. Harry released a video too. He sobbed, stating he only wanted me and Emily to patch things up, not realizing the impact it'd have. He didn't apologize, only hoping to gloss over the incident by playing the victim. I went ahead and sued Harry. People often try to prove their worth when they feel inadequate. Emily was just like that. She thought I was deliberately targeting and humiliating her and Harry. Somehow, she heard about me being out for work and showed up in front of me. Confidently, she demanded, "Tom, don't think you can bully us just because you have money. Why are you targeting Harry and me?" Seeing Emily became a knee-jerk eye roll for me. You aren't worth targeting. I have tons of deals to close and no time for you. Had I not lost my mind over you before, neither you nor Harry would ever cross paths with me. Don't overestimate yourselves or you'll find out you're just a joke. She wanted to say more, but my security politely escorted her out. Riding the wave of public attention, I announced a new team dedicated to settling marriage disputes. The whole episode opened my eyes to how often someone ends up on the losing end in relationships. If someone in my position could get misunderstood and attacked, imagine what happens to those less experienced. I wanted to leverage my power and resources to help others protect their rights. We offered free assistance to those less fortunate. Over time, we helped countless people who felt trapped. Sunny brought Harry over to apologize, fearing his actions might harm their business ties. Harry apologized through tears, but his eyes showed resentment. Looking at the two of them, I laid down my terms. Simple. He had to publicly apologize and admit his wrongdoings. Harry's wife, Sunny, quickly agreed. Yes, that's only right. It was Harry's fault. Harry wasn't happy. He's always posting his lavish lifestyle on his account, which has thousands of followers. Making him apologize to me was like a slap in the face. Sunny was polite to me but not to Harry. She tried hard to persuade him, but Harry refused to apologize publicly. He was pretty stubborn about it. You were wrong in the first place. Now Tom is willing to forgive you, so why be so stubborn? Harry's face turned pale. He bit his lower lip and said nothing, stubborn as ever. I looked at my assistant. They stepped forward and said politely, Tom's time is precious. Since Harry doesn't want to apologize, you both might as well leave. Sunny got desperate and slapped Harry right across the face. Why is apologizing such a big deal? Do I need to be nice all the time or something? A bright red handprint appeared on Harry's face. He looked at Sunny in disbelief. His eyes welled up when he saw she was ignoring him. He covered his face and said, sniffling, I'm sorry, Tom. I'll post a video apology. I frowned. I don't like Harry, but I dislike hitting your partner even more. Sunny, now that you've chosen to marry Harry, you should respect him. Sunny apologized repeatedly, Tom. I'm really sorry. I lost my temper, and I promise it won't happen again. Before they left, Harry glanced at me. Soon, he posted the apology video, his face marked with a red handprint. Had Sunny hit him again? In the video, Harry's voice came through. I apologized to Tom. I misunderstood, and Tom has broken up with my cousin. The money he wants back was just gifts he gave, so he wasn't wrong. Even though Harry apologized, his tone was odd and uncomfortable to hear. I thought about talking to Sunny about treating Harry better. But some people just aren't worth the sympathy. Business has picked up recently, and I'm incredibly busy. But soon, an internal audit found some products were defective. Since it was an internal issue, the investigation was quick. After several rounds, we zeroed in on Emily. I reported it to the police. They found more stuff when they took over. Turns out Emily stole our company's new project plans and was planning to sell them to a competitor. She was caught at home packing up her belongings. At first, she denied everything. But with the evidence against her, she had no choice but to confess. She blamed me for being heartless and humiliating her publicly. So she tried to get back at me. I chuckled bitterly. This is mainly for Harry, right? You don't have blood ties. He's your aunt and uncle's adopted kid. After they passed away, Harry lived with you, and that's when you got close. I noticed something off about Emily and Harry's relationship. Back when Harry got sick in the hospital, Emily's reaction was strange. She wasn't happy about it. She seemed surprised, angry, and jealous. As a sister, her attitude toward Harry was unusual. I hired someone to investigate discreetly and got pictures of them leaving a hotel together. About an hour later, they exited one after the other. They're adults, so going to a hotel isn't just about talking. I didn't act on the photos right away. After all, Emily was still making me money and paying off her debt. As long as she didn't damage my interests, her messy business with Harry didn't affect me. Hearing what I said, Emily looked upset. Being exposed for something so scandalous, especially when you're married, people are bound to call her out on it. She must like Harry a lot to risk doing something illegal to stand up for him. I found it ironic. Don't tell me you think Harry's illness is your fault. Emily looked at me sharply. Leave him out of this. It's all my doing, nothing to do with Harry. I shrugged. We'll see what the police investigation finds. I just respect the facts. The police soon interrogated Harry. Harry was terrified and didn't expect to get caught up in this. Officer, I had no idea she'd do all that. We were just friends. I don't know anything about what she did. And it has nothing to do with me. Emily had planned to take all the blame herself. Seeing Harry quickly distance himself from her dimmed her expression. In the end, Emily got 5 years for economic crimes. Harry disappeared discreetly. I definitely wasn't gonna let him off easy. I made sure his wife, Sunny, caught a glimpse of the photos of him and Emily at the hotel. Sunny, with her temper, tore into Harry non-stop after that. Harry begged and pleaded, but she wouldn't budge. She even suspected that his illness was getting worse. But since the doctors didn't have a clear diagnosis, she had to hold back for the time being. Later on, Sunny found undeniable proof of Harry's betrayal. and in her fury, she filed for divorce, leaving Harry out in the cold. Emily's parents took him in. Back in the day, they were dead set against Harry and Emily's relationship. But now that Emily was in trouble, finding another boyfriend would be tricky. They didn't really like Harry, but his previous behavior really hurt them. Emily's parents called the cops, and they finally found him, but Harry found it hard to turn back. As usual, I was listening to my assistant's report when my phone lit up on the table. "Hey, can you leave work early tonight?" It was from a young lady I recently started seeing. Ever since we got together, she's been super clingy and affectionate. She texts me every day, and if I'm slow to respond, she gets all pouty and jealous, accusing me of caring only about work. Of course, I enjoy spoiling her. In relationships, you gotta figure out what kind of person suits you through experience. And no matter what, always love yourself first.